Indie comics are everywhere today. You can't go into your local comic shop these days without bumping into an Image title or even like a Dark Horse title or something along those lines. They are absolutely everywhere. Today though, we're going to be highlighting a little indie book called PS238. Let's get into it. First things first, I'm gonna preface this video by saying that this was a video that a fan of this indie comic reached out to me and said, hey, would you mind doing a paid video for this comic? Transparency is key, I'm letting you know right now because that's important. He reached out to me, I took a look at the comic, and I decided, you know what, I really enjoy this, I really dig this book. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Typically, I don't do these types of things, but I really dug the first few pages that I read of this, and I said, wow, this is really cool, this is really interesting, and it's right up my alley, so why not? PS238 is written by Aaron Williams, and it follows the lives of these students and teachers of this elementary school. You're probably wondering, well, that kind of sounds a little bit boring. Well, not necessarily, because these students are the kids of superheroes. This is where it really hooked me. Now, I know this is kind of a trope that's been done before. You know, we've got movies like Sky High that have done it really well, and we've got other things in comics that have done it as well. It's nothing new. However, PS238 really has that sense of just love for the medium. It really loves comics, and it isn't afraid of making fun of them at the same time. One such example of this is the character of Murphy, which is pretty much just a parody of the character of Sandman. I love this little guy. He's really hilarious, and the comic timing that Aaron Williams uses in this book with that character is outstanding. There's a moment in here in the first few pages involving the character of Murphy and involving the character of Death, his sister, that is one of the most funniest things that I've read in a long time, because the timing is so spot on that it really just resonated with me, and it just made me bust a gut. Another one of my favorite characters is the character of Zona, who he has kind of like this parent control chip inside of his head that it prevents him from cussing. So whenever he tries to cuss, he jumps into show tunes, or he jumps into saying words like Finland and things like that. It's absolutely hilarious, and Aaron Williams really uses those moments to the most effective way possible. My first complaint about this book is that Aaron Williams, throughout the first few issues, takes his time to introduce the various characters that you're going to be spending your time with throughout this entire read. I will say that that was a bit of a turnoff, because I thought that's what the entire book was about. Okay, it's a few, one-shot issues where, oh, okay, you've got a parody of Sandman. This is funny, this is really cool, it's great. Oh, this is a parody of, like, MODOK, or this is a parody of Brainiac. Alright, cool, same thing, but is there an overarching story? Is there really something else going on here? It didn't really hit until I started reading a lot more. Eventually things get a bit more interesting when you're introduced to the character of Tyler Marlowe. Now, Tyler Marlowe is, for all intents and purposes, normal. He doesn't have any superpowers, he doesn't have really anything special about him, he's just a normal, everyday, average kid whose parents happen to be superheroes, and they pulled a few strings and they got him enrolled in this superhero school. Right off the bat, this is a bit interesting because you're kind of flipping the traditional superhero scheme on its head. Rather than this character developing superpowers and being unique in a school, this character is unique because he doesn't have superpowers. So it's interesting to see how Tyler deals with the other characters who they have special abilities, and kind of exploring some of the insecurities that would come along with that. Look, there's tons of us out there that have gone to school and felt less because we don't have the right clothing, we're not the right weight, or we just don't fit into a good social clique. This is a perfect examination of that, while at the same time being very satirical of the comic book industry with a very loving hand. Let's talk about the art here. Okay, admittingly the art isn't the strongest thing in the world. It's basically your standard Sunday morning comic strip style art that you're going to find in your local newspaper, and that's not a bad thing. But if you're looking for something that's like hyper realistic or something that's going to blow your socks off, this really isn't it. The strong point in this series is its writing and its sharp satirical take on comics and on the relationships between the different characters. With that said though, the story does get better in terms of art as it goes along. It does get a bit better. However, I am not a fan of the coloring that is introduced later on. The story starts out with digital black and white inks, and Aaron Williams decides to add color later on to it, and for the most part, the color is not that great. He's not the best colorist in the world. Granted, there are a few guys out there that really do it that stand out a lot, but it's pretty garish at times. I get it though, he's learning, he's growing as an artist, and I respect that a lot, but I have to be completely honest and say that maybe the black and white option is the best choice for this book. There's a lot of noise going on right now in the indie scene, and a lot of writers and artists get pushed into the background, and it's really difficult for somebody to break out and to be the next big hit. PS238 is a book that I really recommend you guys check out. I had a blast with it all the way through. It winks and nods at the industry as a whole, and while the art is a bit, it's serviceable, it's nothing that's gonna blow you away, the writing really is there, and it's really sharp, and it's really a hell of a lot of fun. So check this one out, guys. I rate my books on a pass, borrow, buy perfect scale, and I'm gonna give this one a buy. I had a really fun time with it. The art really is the only shortcoming. That and the first few issues are kind of more of a primer than anything else, but aside from that, check this out. It was a really good time. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of hardcovers, trade paperbacks, absolute editions, all that good stuff. Guys, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. It's going to be found in the description below. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And if you want to take it a step further and support this channel and get exclusive content, Patreon is found down below. Summer's coming up. I'm going to have a lot more free time, and that means a lot more content for everybody, especially patrons. So check out that stuff. I love you guys. Have a great week.